to go to mid six figures, to hit seven figures. Of course, it's about systems and it's about implementation and strategies, tactics. So much of this comes down to, though, a more subtle, distilled, refined mindset. And the thing that takes people from mid six figure, like from low six figures, or from even like five figures into these mid six figures and seven figures, is this vigilance in their mindset. Like, you'll see this across the board with entrepreneurs. You can probably see it in me. Like, when you hear me talk, there's a certain kind of urgency and a vigilance and like a sense of just not tolerating bullshit and mediocrity in your life anymore. And wherever you allow these kind of little hypnotic trances and little casual ways of being where you're just like, oh yeah, whatever, I'll get to that later, or little tendencies towards just laziness, or allowing your mindset to slip, this is what you want to pay extra careful attention to, because money is really just a symbol of that. It's, and, for the work we're doing, it's not true for everybody, but for these industries, the amount of money you make is largely based on like how vigilant your mindset work is. And you're not going to hear this said a lot because it's not a very commonly like discussed theme out there. And I think part of that's because it's not that sexy, like it doesn't sell that well to say it. But I just want to be really honest with you guys that this is one of those things that makes or breaks your business when it comes to scaling to these higher levels. Is look for these subtle addictions in your life. Where do you still allow yourself to check out, to go on autopilot, to believe in your own limitations, to allow resignation or mediocrity to reign supreme? And when you're already making, 100,000, 500,000 a year, whatever it is, you've already done some of this work, because you can't make that kind of money without having some sort of vigilance in place in your mindset. But we all still have little weak links. You know what I mean, right? Like, we all still have these little areas of self-sabotage, or allowing our own internal drama and emotional clutter to get in the way. I totally do too. I mean, I'm not immune from this at all. But that's part of the game. That's one thing that entrepreneurship does, is it forces us to hold that mirror up to our own minds in a more extreme way than most people care to do. And especially when you're looking to hit these higher income goals, what I encourage you to do as part of your daily mindset work is to start your day by saying, bring it on. Like, I want that. I'm not going to hide from it. I'm not going to shy away from it, because clearing out some of those more like subtle addictions, those more subtle little pitfalls you get into in your mindset, that can actually be more challenging than like some of the big stuff, some of the harder challenges that you face like initially in this journey. Because you're kind of peeling off these last layers of being a victim, of making excuses, of believing in your limitations, these things that give you this kind of false safety net of familiarity in your life. Your income is going to match up with this. So if you're willing to take that kind of deeper spiritual and emotional leap into the unknown, these higher income levels will generally meet you in that place. Does that make sense? And you'll hear this described by entrepreneurs who are doing this kind of work, like more transformational work for people, that this is one of those kind of widely held principles or rules that doesn't get talked about a lot, but it's absolutely been my experience. And it really is based on your willingness to go there, because it's when you get into these more subtle layers, it is a little more challenging. And a lot of people never touch this stuff. They don't want to go there because, it's like, hey, if I'm making 100,000 a year or 500,000 a year, I'm cool. I'm cool. And you kind of lose that kind of primitive, animalistic like urgency to like keep growing, keep pushing yourself, keep evolving. And you get comfortable, you get stagnant, you get resigned. And these little subtle trappings, you just have to up your vigilance and like every morning, like refresh your willingness to explore those areas of your own psyche and like find out, like really get passionate about like charting, like going into uncharted territory in your mind and like, okay, where do I still buy into my excuses? Where do I still allow myself to be too casual, too resigned, to procrastinate, right? And it's going to be a little bit more subtle than what a lot of people are doing out there. And there's going to be a voice that says, this is okay. I can get away with this. It's okay. But if you want to get to $1 million a year, it's really not okay, because it's going to conflict with that desire. Does that make sense? So when you're looking to put these new systems into place and like, you know, like refine your systems and take your business to these higher levels, those systems are largely going to work based on this inner vigilance. It's going to activate the power of what you're trying to do in your action plan to get to that place. And so that's why I always say, like, mindset and marketing just go hand in hand. You cannot separate them out. And see this as a blessing. Like, if you have an opportunity in your daily life to cultivate this kind of vigilance and get into these more subtle layers where you still sabotage, where you still have pitfalls, that is so just so so extraordinary. Like, so few people go there, and it's life telling you, like, you know, hey, you are being rewarded for your hard work. You're being rewarded for committing to your path. And this is the next layer of that reward, is going into more subtle terrain inside of yourself that a lot of people don't want to touch, because we want these little things to just confirm our identity and say, oh, no, this is me. I'm still like this, and this is how life is. So to scale to those higher income levels, like, get super passionate about blowing apart those last little paradigms of mediocrity, of like keeping you in like the middle class, keeping you in like what is known and what the status quo entails. Does this make sense, you guys?